at chords and intervals, and we discussed this being a major third and this being a minor third. So the chord could be called a major minor. And so far the chords we've looked at have all been triads, 3-note chords. Alright, now if we're in a different key like G, so when you build the chords for G, when you get to the chord that uses an F tone, it's got to be F sharp. There's our 5 chord with that F sharp in it, which is the leading tone of G. We're in the key of G. And there's our 7 chord. What is a 7th chord? A 7th chord is a chord that has the 7th step of the scale as part of the chord. First chord in our series, our diatonic series, is a major chord, major, minor. The 2 chord is a minor, major, and so we see that the types of thirds change. As a matter of fact, when you get to the 7 chord, the third is a minor, and the 5th is another minor third above that. So the thirds and the 5ths get modified as we go up in terms of intervals from the root of the chord. Take a simple triad and just extend it one more third. Major 6th, major 7th. And this, I always like to point this out right away. This 7 is a half step from the octave. Let's just go through our naming conventions. There is what you call a minor 7th. Now if we take a major interval and make it smaller by a half step, it's called a minor interval. There's a major 6th and a minor 6th. Perfect intervals, if you make them smaller by a half step, are called diminished intervals. Perfect 5th, diminished 5th. And if we make a minor interval smaller by a half step, it also has the term diminished. This looks like a major 6th, however, it is also a diminished 7th. Alright, so let's do our diatonic chords. The first chord we come up with is called C, and then we say major 7th. When you play a D minor chord, we add a 7th. Because we know it's a 7th from there to there, but from here, it's now a whole step with entire chords and their 7ths. Major, major, minor, minor. The 3 chord's going to have the same construction as the 2 chord. The 1 and the 4 chord are the 2 chords that are the same. The major, major. There's a half step there. The 5 chord comes out a little different. It's a major chord with a minor 7th. There's the 6 chord. It's a minor chord with a minor 7th. And here is our diminished triad with a minor 7th. 8, 7, flat 7. And magically now this is no longer referred to as a diminished chord. This chord is now referred to as a half diminished 7th chord. This chord also can be called a B minor 7th, flat 5. Let's get back to the 7 chord because that's got all kinds of special cool things about it. We have a major chord. It's G 7th. We're not saying minor 7th. It's just G 7th. So when you hear the term G 7th or 7th chord, most of the time this is what people are talking about. Although all of these are 7th chords by virtue of having a 7th tone in it. This is the one that's referred to as the 7th chord. Major chord with the minor 7th. I'm going to do this chord on a form 2 chord, the one that's down in the 3rd position on the neck. It's voiced 1, 5, 1, 3. Okay, it's just real easy to see. If we want to make a major 7th chord out of it, you have to use on the guitar what's called drop tone, because you can't play 2 notes on the same string. Alright, so on the guitar you have to drop or eliminate this tone. It's just called drop tone. Right? There's our major 7th. There's our minor 7th, or what we can just call C 7th. And there's C 6th. Alright, here's our C chord 1, 5, 8, and 3. We want to turn that into a major 7th. We can just move this tone down to here and trade it for that. There's our C major 7th. Now I can flat the 7, and we have a C 7th chord, and then there's the C 6th with the 6th tone added down there. Okay. Here's the D minor 7th chord, starting from D minor, and you can put a major 7th in it. D minor 7th, and then D minor 6th. And you can accomplish that by going from D minor, just lifting your 4th finger, and you're at D minor 7th. 3 chords the same as the 2 chord. 4 chords the same as the 1 chord. 5 chord is the one that's different now. It's a major chord and a flat 7. There's our 6, same as 2 and 3. And there's our 7 chord. So in practical guitar playing, you might use a form 3. And maybe we'll get this in here. We'll go to form 2 for the 5 chord, and the 6 chord, and the 7 chord. Okay, some more fun with our A pentatonic scale. We started with these notes, and we extended this scale all the way down to there. So we added this new note to it. It's actually just the octave of that note. And then we took this note here and played it there instead. Alright, now here's the trick to this lick. Now watch what happens here. I just roll my finger over to get that note. I did exactly the same thing there. All the way up to here. And you do a bend. You can bend it either way. You get the same effect. And then there's the vibrato, the shake. Here's how you get that Chuck Berry sound. You bend it far enough so it almost reaches there. And then you play these 2 notes. Now even though this is the lowest note in this scale, this is our home key note. This is where you want to land the plane.